Come on, Doc. We've got places to go.
So do you remember in Justice League when they were worried that they were going to bring back an evil zombie Superman?
We mean bring him back in like a yay, he's back way, not in like a Pet Sematary scenario.
He's not all right.
Well, here's the story behind why they thought that might happen. Here's Pet Sematary.
Well, sometimes that is better.
So we meet Lewis Creed, who wanted to leave Chicago so bad that he bought a house in a small town in Maine without asking his wife what she thought about it. Uh-oh. But this works out since Rachel decides she likes the house. But in true boomer fashion, they stare at the house while their daughter Ellen plays near the road and their toddler is left in the car alone.
Maybe there's a better way.
Then, just as Rachel gets their son Gage out of his car seat, Ellen gets hurt because the tire swing she was playing on breaks because it was an old piece of shit. They both run over to check out her boo-boo, leaving their son to walk out onto the road wearing nothing but a diaper, even though Rachel had just let him go and could have easily picked him back up and carried him. And Lewis ran right past him, knowing his wife was ahead of him.
Got away from him, that numb shit!
But luckily, they have a nosy neighbor who grabs him just before he's run over by a truck.
Scared you, didn't I?
Are they like trashy drunk parents?
No, they're just boomers. He's even a doctor.
Always thought it would be lucky to marry a doctor.
Yeah, well, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
But the nosy neighbor Judd tells them that the trucks don't give a fuck and just rush through this small lane even with houses super close to the road, which might have been something they would have liked to have known before closing on the house, especially with two small kids and a cat they let go outside.
Stupid cat!
And instead of finding out more about the guy who just saved their kid, they just ask him where a path goes in the woods.
That's rude.
He's all weird about it and fucks off, but later that night, Lewis passes the ultimate test of manliness by not needing a glass for his beer.
It takes a man to do something like that.
And even though he never takes a drink out of his manly bargain basement bottled beer, Judd tells Lewis that the path leads to a pet cemetery that's filled with all the animals the trucks have killed on the road.
You want to watch out for that road.
He then tells him that he should get his cat fixed, otherwise it's just a matter of time before it's roadkill. And Lewis seems kind of annoyed by the suggestion.
I can take care of my own family, all right?
A few days later, Judd takes him on a family trip down the path to the cemetery. Rachel then yells at the man who saved her son's life because he likes the cemetery, even though he likes it because he can visit his dog that died over 60 years ago.
That's a very long time.
And since this trip freaks out Ellen into thinking her cat Church is dying, her dad takes him to get neutered. But Ellen freaks out about that too and wants him to promise that he's going to be okay. Now, as a doctor, he knows the cat will probably be fine, but there's always a chance he could die and doesn't want to make the promise. But Rachel's like, go promise her so she'll shut the fuck up. So he does, but he tells Rachel, if that cat fucking dies, you better explain to our daughter that it's your promises that don't mean shit, not mine.
You know, it's like what Turbo Man says. Always keep your promises if you want to keep your friends.
But then they kiss and make up, so everything's fine.
Yay!
On his first day at work, all the teenagers in town bring in this guy, Victor Pascal, whose brains are spilling out because he was hit by a truck. But even though this guy's clearly gonna die, Lewis still tries to save him.
Let's see if you have any brains.
And he dies. Then he wakes up, spits in Lewis's face, and starts spewing some bullshit.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
Now Lewis is freaking the fuck out, as one would, but not because the dead guy's talking, or even that he's smiling in the creepiest way possible. No, he's freaking out because he knows his name.
How did you know my name?
Because it's on your t-shirt.
That night, Victor visits Lewis again. He leads him to the pet cemetery and says no matter what, do not pass the circly part, because over there is zombie land.
The place is evil.
Then he fucks off, and Lewis decides to lay down in the dirt and go back to sleep. He then wakes up in bed with really dirty feet.
So was he sleepwalking or was he really awake? Because if he was awake, he should have put on shoes.
Look, I know I haven't told you that many ghost stories, but when ghosts visit you, you gotta do what you're told right away, because you don't know how long they're gonna be hanging around. Sometimes they give you a super cryptic message and just fuck off, so you have to haul ass if a ghost wants to take you somewhere. Plus, no one wants to put shoes on in the middle of the night, especially when you're in comfy pajamas.
It's still better than walking through nasty wet grass in a muddy cemetery.
Shut up. It's a matter of opinion.
Yuck! Gross!
Anyway, a few months later, Rachel takes the kids to her parents for Thanksgiving, but Lewis doesn't go. Not because he has to be on call as the town doctor, but because he doesn't like her family.
I told her when you were first married you'll have all the grief you can stand and more, I said.
Well, they seem great.
Then Judd calls and tells him his cat was hit by a truck. And when he confirms it was Church, Judd asks him what he'll do.
What are the options?
Only one way to skin a cat. Put a hose up the cat's butt, he gets so bloated that he skins himself.
Chop him up and stew him.
Well, snackaroo.
But when he says that he might just tell Ellen that he ran away so she won't be sad, Judd's like, come with me.
Man doesn't always know why he does things.
They go past the cemetery to the place where the teenager with no brain told him not to go. Then the old guy climbs over the barrier with no problem, but the way younger doctor falls on his ass. And when they get back there, they hear some weird sounds.
You die! You die! You die!
But Judd's like, it's just birds, no biggie. Then they have to climb down a bunch of rocks and finally get to an Indian burial ground where Judd tells him to bury Church, but doesn't give a reason why. And he's like, don't tell the family about the cat. He's like, why not?
Because it's probably illegal.
That's very true.
Do not dare to enter these sacred grounds.
Judd just thinks they have the soft hearts of women and fucks off. And this is when Lewis remembers the dead kid's warning.
They have the soft hearts of women.
Later, he calls his family, and Ellen immediately asks about Church. So he lies his ass off.
Church will be alright, honey.
Yay!
And kind of feels like shit, to the point he ignores Gage talking to him.
Will you come over and play with me?
The next day, Church shows back up, but he's an asshole now.
Fuck off, hairball.
He goes to Judd, who tells him the same thing happened with his dog. But when the dog died a second time, he wasn't sad, because he sucked.
Sometimes that is better.
He figures when Ellen comes back, and Church is a jerk to her, she won't be sad when he dies. Problem solved. Then Lewis asks if a person's ever been buried back there. And Judd's like, hell no, that'd be fucked up.
So Lewis asks if a person has ever been buried in the Indian burial ground. And Judd said no.
Well, maybe they're just racist pieces of shit who don't think Native Americans are people.
Why, for God's sake?
I had my reasons.
Racist pieces of shit.
When he picks his family up from the airport, Ellen says she dreamed about Church being hit by a truck. And Lewis is like, that's stupid. Where'd you get a dumb idea like that? And she's like, okay. So he doesn't warn her that he's being an asshole, and kind of smells like one too.
You stink to the ground you buried him in! Smells like Bigfoot's dick!
A little while later, a woman who does their laundry kills herself, and this makes Ellen ask about what happens when you die. So he looks over at his newly resurrected demon zombie cat and is like, I'm pretty sure something happens after we die.
The sign of a true Catholic.
And that night, Rachel tells him how much she wanted her older sister to die when she was a kid. So he drugs his wife against her will to shut her up.
Lewis, it's not right.
So a few days later, they're having a picnic with Judd and flying a kite. Gage drops the spool, and Ellen's pissed because she wants a turn. And even though Lewis is 2 steps away and could have easily grabbed it, he just lets it unravel. And they're too busy telling her to be patient that they don't notice the kite flying away or their toddler slowly following it to the road.
The idiot said you watching it!
But Judd finally notices when he's so far away that Lewis has to run to get there. But it's too late, and he gets hit by a truck and he dies.
No fair.
I bet they wish they got a fence now.
Well, the house does have a small one, but their property's so big that it would be really expensive to fence the whole thing.
This place is a death trap, you understand that?
I guess they don't see the creepy woods, the lake the kids could drown in, or the busy road as reasons to actually invest in one.
It's a write-off. It's tax deductible.
After drugging his wife again, Lewis is picking out pictures for the funeral when Ellen comes in to talk to him and Judd. She's clearly upset that her brother's dead, so Lewis tells her to shut up, and she fucks off.
The compassion's overwhelming, Doctor.
At the funeral, Rachel's dad blames Lewis and starts a fight in front of Ellen. So Lewis shoves him into the coffin, knocking it to the ground.
And if I ever needed another reason not to like your mother and father, I have one now.
And when he puts Ellen to bed, she's holding a picture of Gage and says she's gonna carry it until Gage comes back. And Lewis is like, what a good idea. Then sees Church being a giant asshole again and is like, maybe not. Judd comes by and tells him not to do anything stupid, and that someone actually has been buried in the Indian burial ground before.
Oh, shit. What was your first clue?
After the Second World War, this guy buried his son there, and people got freaked out. So Judd and some of his friends burned him and his father alive. And this somehow makes Judd think he's responsible for Gage's death.
Is he saying that if Lewis brings Gage back to life, that he will burn his family alive?
Now you gotta die. Those are the rules.
The soil of a man's heart is stonier.
But they decide to go to Chicago for a break. But Ellen doesn't want to go without her dad because she had a dream about him bringing Gage back to life.
Isn't that what she wanted?
Yeah, but since she had a dream about the cat and he turned into an asshole, she probably doesn't want the same thing to happen to her brother.
She knew it was an abomination.
But Lewis does go to dig up Gage in broad daylight and gets another visit from Victor, warning him not to do it. But Lewis doesn't listen to him, probably because you can't take a man and Daisy Dukes seriously.
Who wears short shorts?
I wear short shorts!
But Lewis is like, if he comes back as a monster, I'll just kill him. So Victor visits Ellen, who tells her mom that some zombie boy was in her bedroom. But she's just like, shut the fuck up and go back to sleep. But then she realizes who Ellen was talking about, and she tries to call Lewis, but he's too busy unburying their kid. Then she calls Judd and says she's coming home. He tells her not to, because he immediately knows that he sent them to Chicago so he could do some stupid shit.
You look pretty stupid to me.
When he finally gets Gage out of the grave, Rachel has a dream about her dead sister wanting revenge. Then she has to sprint to get to her connecting flight, where the attendant is already shutting the door. But she just runs past her, and somehow this works because it's before 9/11. And they just call the pilot to let her on.
Thank you so much.
Think nothing of it.
Meanwhile, Judd fell asleep on his Lewis watching duty and missed him coming back, even though he knew where he was going and could have just waited for him there. But as Lewis makes his way up to the cemetery, trees and shit keep falling, warning him not to go. But he's like, fuck that, and ignores all the warnings.
The barrier was not meant to be crossed. Well, I'll take it under advisement.
Rachel lands, and Victor helps her rent a car, but the tire blows on her way home. And he's like, it's the cemetery, trying to stop you from stopping him. But he's already buried Gage, so it's a bit too late. And if something was trying to get him to bury the toddler, why was so much shit falling in his way?
Think you didn't have any brains at all.
Anyway, she hitchhikes in one of the trucks from the company that killed her son just as Gage makes it back home, where he immediately gets in his dad's medical bag and grabs the scalpel.
Be careful.
Judd wakes up and sees the light on across the street and goes to check it out, but he sees Gage's footprints going into his own house. He looks for him upstairs and pulls out a knife to murder the toddler, but Church distracts him and Gage cuts his face, bites his neck, and he dies.
Well, they have to learn about death somehow, now don't they?
Rachel then gets there to see Church with blood on his paws, then hears moaning upstairs, goes to investigate, and finds her dead sister. But it's really Gage dressed up like her sister.
You're wearing lady clothes? You haven't showered, didn't you? You smell good.
So she's happy to see her dead son, and isn't even worried that he's holding a scalpel.
A new toy?
The fucking undead cut his head off!
Then Lewis wakes up, with his back hurting like a bitch from all that digging. He sees the dirty footprints and the missing scalpel, and knows his kid is a little zombie dickhead now.
Oh yeah, that thing's a fucking monster.
Then his father-in-law calls, looking for Rachel, who he hasn't seen, and tells him that she's fine, even after they say that Ellen had a dream that she died.
Well, Ellie will suffer, she'll suffer plenty.
And then when his phone rings again, he screams at what he thinks is his freaked out daughter, but it turns out to be his dead son.
Be dead!
He tells him to come play at Judd's house, so Lewis loads up a syringe and grabs a steak to kill Church. But he doesn't poison the steak. Instead, he just grabs Church as he's eating it and jabs the demon cat, and he dies.
That butthole?
I know that it's confusing.
Then goes upstairs after Gage and finds the room Judd was killed in with very little blood on the floor and Judd dead under the bed. Then Rachel's body drops in the attic, Michael Myers style. Then Gage jumps down at him and stabs him with a scalpel. He knocks the little shit away,
I'm flying.
but then calls for him once he gets the syringe ready. So Gage just walks right up to him, and Lewis stabs him in the neck, and he dies.
This is so fucked up.
He's only a baby after all.
He then sets Judd's house on fire with Judd and Gage's body inside, but takes Rachel's body to bury it in the Indian burial ground.
They never learn.
Victor warns him not to do it, but he thinks it's going to be fine this time because she just died, and Gage died a few days ago. Plus, she hasn't been embalmed and all those weird chemicals and shit.
But you said he was hurt from all the digging, and now he's gonna do it again?
Shut up. He can probably use the same hole. We'll just have to fill it in a little. He is walking like he's got something up his butt, though.
You know how men are when they're alone.
Anyway, she comes back with a leaky pussy eye from when her dead toddler stabbed her. He's like, oh, honey, you're just as beautiful as the day we got married. So they kiss, and she stabs him in the whatever, and he dies.
Still friends, Doc?
At least it don't look like he suffered.
Come with us. Please come with us.
Well, I'll have to mull that over for a while.
Don't make me tell you twice.
I'd help you, but you gotta do it yourself.
I'll get you.
Gage, and I will get you.